All right, time to explain the contents of the BBI report, where women leaders now want the Building Bridges Initiative report opened for amendments so as to ensure that that issues touching on women representation in leadership is well entrenched. Now, women leaders have said that the BBI report as it is has eroded the gains that had been made in ensuring women representation in leadership is achieved, saying that the issues must be addressed before the report is subjected into a referendum. The women leaders, led by Kirinyaga woman representative Wangoi Girishi, have said that currently there are 53 women in the National Assembly, 47 women representatives, and 6 nominated members of parliament. But the BBI report has scrapped the women rep position and the nominated seat. So, answers now let's stay with that story. But before we talk to my guest this morning, let's listen to what the women leaders have to say.
1/3 na wale wako juu wasipite 2/3. Hebu tufuate tu hiyo sheria. Na sisi kama walimu wanawake tumesema anywhere yenye hiyo maneno itajadiliwa, tutasimama kidete kusema ile tuko naye tayari kwa constitution sahihi isichukuliwe, kwa sababu tumeiangalia vizuri. Tunafunikwa na maneno ya Senate ya kwamba wanawake watakuwa 47 kwa Senate, lakini ukiangalia vizuri wale wamesoma, mimi bado naisoma, lakini ile tumesikia ni kwamba kwa National Assembly tunaweza poteza kama wamama, na hiyo tumekataa kwa sababu sheria inatungwa wapi? Kwa National Assembly.
Kama hii BBI ni ya kusaidia Mkenya, kama BBI ni ya kufanya Kenya iwe kitu kimoja na tusipigane tena, BBI tukae chini, tuongee na tukubaliane, kwa sababu kuna zile vipengele hapa na pale ambazo Wakenya wengi ambao labda hawana sauti hawakubaliani nazo, na ni vizuri kwamba kila mtu ajisikie ni Mkenya na asikie ako incorporated. Na kama Building Bridges Initiative ilikuwa kweli ya kuleta Wakenya pamoja, it is then important kila Mkenya awe amerithika, na tunaita, we are calling out for a BBI ambayo itakuwa inakubalika.
So we are calling for a BBI ambayo itakuwa inakubalika. And let's stay with that story, that opinion divided, and what the BBI report means for women in the country. There are those who say women are among the major beneficiaries of the Building Bridges Initiative report, though the 47 women representative positions have been scrapped and replaced with an equal number in the Senate. Now, close analysis of the report indicates a win compared to the current setup. Now, women leaders have been pushing for an alternating gender in the big elective positions in both the county and the national government. In the last election, only a handful of governors appointed deputies from the opposite gender. Let's speak to Homa Bay woman representative Gladys Wanga. Later on, we shall also be expecting also Kandara member of parliament Alice Ome to join us in this conversation. But let's begin with Honorable Gladys Wanga. And Mheshimiwa, let me just begin from where your colleague has left it at. Lots of concern about the achievement of women issues in the country, especially gender representation. Having the feeling like the document is actually taking back women to the dark days.
Thank you, Brenda. Although I haven't had what the other women leaders have said, because I didn't have the benefit of listening to the statement, but I believe
the concern is they're saying that let that BBI document be a document that will be accepted by all, especially when it comes to touching on women agenda.
Yes, so I want to say that for women of Kenya, what we have fought for together for the last over 50 years has been to attain the two-thirds gender principle in Parliament. That has been a big battle, and I want to say without fear of contradiction and unequivocally that when the BBI report was released, the BBI report covers a lot of issues of women and girls. Looking at page 7 of the report, there is a whole section there on women and girls. And it says to correct the wide range of issues that are affecting women's representation system, to implement the 2/3 gender rule in parliament, and to ensure the executive structure of the country follows the 2/3 gender rule, and others. When we went to the proposed bill that starts from page 57, we realized that there was a missing nexus between what is in the report and what is in the proposed conversations in Naivasha and other places. And it has been agreed that the missing nexus between what is in the report and what is in the draft bill should include, when the bill comes out, the referendum bill, we should have a parliament that is. Secondly, as you have mentioned, we have in the BBI bill now the fact that we will not just fight for representation. Women.
All right, we have been talking to Homa Bay woman Representative Gladys Wanga on her take about, the gender issue on the BBI report that has caused a lot of uproar, and especially not only amongst women leaders who are saying that their gains, what they've worked hard for in terms of women representation in the country is being taken away. And Honorable Wanga, just before we had that technical hitch, you're trying to talk to us about the women issue in that document.
Yes, so this is what I want to explain. So one,
Right, we do apologize for that technical hitch. Matters technology during this time of COVID-19. But as we try to get a hold of Gladys Wanga, woman representative for Homa Bay, let me bring in Kandara Member of Parliament Alice Wahome. And Mheshimiwa, thank you so much for talking to us here on a KTN News Center. I'd like to get your views, first of all, your general view before we delve deeper into this conversation about the BBI report when it comes to women agenda.
Thank you, Leader. My general view is that on the whole, the BBI report and the proposed bills have taken away the women gains that have been put in and ensured and guaranteed in the current constitution. You see, Gladys Wanga has alluded to the fact that we have been struggling to ensure that the gains that the 2010 constitution gave to women, actually after a very long struggle, have of course not well been captured in the current BBI report and in the proposed bills. Indeed, if you look at the general aspect of the report and the bills, there is a major disconnect. And of course, the intention from the beginning was to remove the women gains in Article 27 of the Constitution, Article 81 of the Constitution. And when you look at the number of women now in Parliament, we have been struggling both at the Senate level and at the National Assembly level. So I am surprised that Gladys Wanga, who has been a major proponent of the BBI process, at this stage realizes that the bills have taken away, the proposed bills have taken away those gains. So I want to say that as we delve into this, the women of this country have started speaking and seeing the mischief in the proposed bills, and they are not willing to compromise unless, looking at what we had 47 women representatives in the National Assembly, and we have had 6 women, nominated women members of Parliament. In the Senate, we had 18, you could say 16 women. That is a straight nomination slot, and of course another 2 through the youth and through persons with disability. Actually, we have a total of 20 women in the Senate. So these numbers bring to the current Parliament as a whole to 98. Of course, we were hoping that at the executive, where I think she got lost, her network brought problems at the executive level. there were proposals by women that if you are going to change the current structure of the executive, the national executive and the county government executive, then you must provide for a zebra arrangement, so that you are saying if you have a president who is a man or a woman, then the person of the opposite gender should occupy the deputy position, both at prime minister level, which has been proposed, yes.
But then, Honorable Wahome, don't you think, because your proposal, because so far what I know about the BBI report, it says that when it comes to the leadership, the gubernatorial leadership, if the governor is a man, the deputy has to be a woman. If the governor is a woman, the deputy has to be a man. Now, you're also bringing in a proposal of whereby you're saying that if the president is a male, the deputy has to be a female, same to the position of the prime minister and the deputy prime minister, something of sort has to be done. But don't you think this will actually kill the democracy we're talking about here in the country? Why should impose leaders, you know, on people insisting women get special thoughts when it comes to leadership?
Let's first start with what we have in the Constitution, because you are trying to change the Constitution so that you can improve it. At the moment, you know, if you look at the county government level where you started, there is a proposal that a male governor, for example, or a person of the opposite gender should choose another person of the opposite gender for the gubernatorial seat. You know, the captured words or the words operating there are shall consider. You know, when you use the words shall consider, no, not that shall we or shall provide for the opposite gender, but shall consider. So therefore, the word consider gives the person, the candidate, discretion. And indeed, you have listened to the pastoralists. They are very key on this particular aspect. They are saying you cannot impose. You cannot impose on the governor candidate to choose a person of the opposite gender because maybe at their level, at their communities, women, and I'm sure they are referring to women, will not be accepted. In this country, we want to talk about democracy. Democracy captures and should ensure that the people living in this country, the owners of this country are Kenyans. Kenyans are made of men and women, or male and female. And therefore, you cannot talk about imposing. The laws are supposed to facilitate. We are even talking about ensuring that marginalized areas of this country get better funding or proper funding to be able to catch up with other areas. Yes, you see, you know, you are trying to have equity.
All right. All right.
Yes.
All right. So let me try, and because I think I have information that we've gotten your colleague, Homa Bay Woman Representative Gladys Wanga. And Honorable Wanga, just before we lost you because of the technical hitch you're experiencing on your side, we were talking with Honorable Wahome about insisting, you know, like imposing leaders on people by insisting women get special slots. But I hear Honorable Wanga can't hear me clearly. So let me continue having this conversation. You can hear, okay, Honorable Wanga can hear me. So Honorable Wanga, with this, we're talking about democracy here, about the proposal by the BBI report saying that the opposite gender has to be included in leadership when it comes to the gubernatorial seats or the deputy governors. But my question that I posed to Honorable Wanga is the same question I'm posing to you. Don't you think this will be imposing leadership on people in the name of giving women special slots in leadership?
Thank you. First, I'm sorry for the network problem. And I want to start from where I was in terms of the gains that the women have made in the BBI. And I had said that for 50 years, women have been fighting for the two-thirds gender rule to be implemented in Parliament. Last Parliament, together with Honorable Alice Wahome, we tried 3 times. In this Parliament, we have also tried twice. We did not succeed. BBI is providing now an opportunity for the 1/3 or 2/3 gender rule to be implemented fully and conclusively in the Houses of Parliament. That is one major gain. Secondly, we now have a House that is 50-50 gender compliant, and that is the Senate. You have women now in the Senate. Currently, the situation is that you have over 20 women without a vote. What women are doing in the Senate now is escorting their colleagues. Now we have a situation where we have a 50-50 balance in power, And then we have those women with full voting rights. That's another major gain. When you come to the National Assembly, there has been the question of the 47 women. The 47 women are no longer in the National Assembly, but now we have 47 women in the Senate. While in the National Assembly, we have the multiple member constituencies, and there is going to be a mixed member list or mixed member candidates in the multiple member constituencies. Then after that, if the women have not attained the 1/3 rule, then there will be the top-up, as is the case in the county assemblies. And I know people are saying, oh, you know, this is why are you bringing in the issue of top-up? But remember that the Duale bill that we have been fighting to pass, both in the last parliament and this one, has been to bring up the 177 to the National Assembly. So that is another big achievement that we have. Then we come to the question that we are now discussing of the 2/3 gender, of the opposite gender rule in the county governments. We did not have that opposite gender rule. We are now achieving the opposite gender rule in the county governments. It's a good place to start.
But
I think it's a good achievement.
But Honorable Wanga, allow me to cut you short, because then it goes back to what I was asking your colleague, Honorable Alice Wahome. Don't you think this is imposing leadership in the name of giving women special slots?
I want to answer that question. Currently, as we speak, there is a position called woman representative. It's an affirmative action position. Men are not allowed to run. But when women were given an opportunity, including in the counties where it was never thought that women could lead, women came up and women are leading, and are leading very, very well. And this is my point. If the Constitution provides for this affirmative action item, then it just only acts to strengthen women. So I think the question about whether we are imposing leaders, even currently as we speak, there are governors who have their deputies as women. Nobody has been imposed. Even when governors go forward, nobody will impose on them. Like myself, now if I'm going to run for governorship, for example, there is going to be somebody, I could choose to have a woman as my running mate, but now the law will tell me, no, you must choose a man as your running mate.
All right,
so it's both ways.
All right, so let me bring in your colleague, Honorable Alice Wahome. So, Honorable Wahome, why can't...
If I could just finish, I want to ask the question, where is the loss in gains? Because there is this question all the time. I hear my women leader colleagues saying, women have lost. Where have we lost? We have achieved the 1/3 that we have always been looking for. We have achieved the opposite gender rule. We have achieved a 50-50 house. We have achieved Article 43 rights now being in the state of the nation and being a priority for budget. So where is the loss? That is my question.
And so that is the same question I had to pose to Alice Wahome. You've actually read my mind. And Honorable Wahome, there is an argument by women that when it comes to the National Assembly, the document is so silent, women are actually going to lose in terms of their numbers, because scrapping off a proposal to scrap off 47 women representatives and also the nominated slots for women.
Okay, yeah, first and foremost, Gladys Wanga is asking where is the loss. The first loss is that there is a proposal to scrape away the 47 seats. The 47 seats, is true, was a special provision for affirmative action. When you provide for affirmative action, it's not just because of gender. You may provide, and I had said earlier, you may provide for special affirmative action in terms of the marginalization of communities, marginalization of a region. And therefore, it was found out, and we all agree, that women have been marginalized before, have not been present in governance. Therefore, to remove 47 and propose the multiple seats that Gladys Wanga is talking about, one, the 47 are elected directly by the people. That gives a different aspect of leadership for women. And the casting of that vote normally is by both men and women at the county level. So it was giving women a sense of belonging, a sense of ownership and identity, because nobody is nominating them. They are getting mandate direct. In the proposed 70 seats, where Wanga is saying we are now assured of achieving the two-third gender principle. I want to remind her that this is going to be by the parties. Political parties are not owned by women. Women have very little say so far in political parties. We've struggled to be able to have a strong voice, but you know that even now, she will agree with me that the party will have a major role if the provisions proposed in the legislative bills for the constitutional bills go the way they are. It means we are removing the mandate of the people and giving that mandate to political parties. So we do not agree with that. Then there is also an assumption that the 47 that have been proposed in the Senate will be acceptable. I'm sure you listened to the debate the last week on the Senate floor of the Senate male colleagues saying that they will not accept a position where you are removing 47 women and dumping them. You know, they're using this language like dumping or offloading to the Senate chamber. And therefore, nobody has guaranteed that the provisions to put women in, to remove women in the National Assembly and take to the Senate, that we will succeed.
All right.
Remember, we are going for a vote or a referendum. So, you know, in a situation where you have a game and you are taking it to subject it to a referendum, obviously you know that there is likelihood that may not work.
All right.
I am also surprised that Wanga is refusing, and you know, I know she was one of the people who went to present before the BBI. Their presentation at the BBI, at the executive level, the national government level, was that we have a zebra for the position of prime minister. That's so that if you have a prime minister who is a male, then you have deputy, at least one deputy who will be a female if there are two deputies. If it is one deputy, then it will be a female. And I'm saying then the same should apply to the presidency. Your question is, are we not imposing women leaders in this country? The country may have to pay a price, because the reason women have not risen to the level of being able to have the equal capacity or similar capacity with our male colleagues in leadership is historical.
All right.
Marginalization.
All
yeah,
right.
it's our culture. It's our country is not an equal society.
All right,
this is the period we are talking about. Let me put this point across. This period, the BBI's major or biggest score that they would like to score is inclusivity.
All right.
If we are going to score on inclusivity without women, then the BBI would have been a flop, because therefore then it would have been to include particular people and secure particular positions without women.
All right, so ladies, Honorable Gladys Wanga, Honorable Wahome, just stay with me, ladies, because I'm just taking a short commercial break. We're coming back to continue having this discussion with Honorable Gladys Wanga and also Honorable Alice Wahome on matters BBI on the women agenda.
Thank you very much.
This is KTN News.